Welcome back. Now I've got the resonator painted. I went ahead and hit all of the joints with primer first and went over everything with sprayer 2 times. So you can see down in the joints I don't have any places where I've got holes. I know it's not pretty in there, but that's the best I can do. Anyway, that should be sealed up. We just want to make sure that we keep the air fittings going from the bubbler to the carburetor airtight. So that should be that way. We'll see. Alright, we're back with the bubbler. Now, the last time you saw the bubbler, it didn't have the front fitting on there. The front fitting is going to be for my drain, which will drain out the bottom, and then the line coming up will be the recirculation that will wrap around our tube and then return to the back side of the bubbler here on this fitting. Now this fitting will be just above the fuel level on the inside. See our bubbler. The fuel level will be about the bottom of this opening, which will be above the bubbler on the inside. So our inlet, you can see in the back, the inlet is above the fuel level, but it's still low enough in the container that it can mix with the vapors as they're created inside. Now the vacuum is on this side. The actual exit is right there. And you can see when we look up inside, you can see the exit. And then the other side, of course, is the return. Air comes in through that, bubbles up under the gasoline, creates vapors inside, and then the vapors are going to get mixed with return exhaust gas coming in the back, because there will be a vacuum in here above the fuel level, and that should get mixed with the fuel before it goes into the vaporizer and back to the carburetor. So that's what we have. We have a valve placed on there with a fitting for the fuel to be drawn off the bottom of our tank, and the reason for pulling the fuel off the bottom of the tank is because after this fuel is evaporated inside of here, if we didn't have this recirculation, the fuel would become more like diesel fuel. It would lose its vapors. This will allow us to pull that vapor off the bottom, pull the bad fuel off the bottom, and constantly recirculate that. Now we may put a valve on this once we find out if it actually works or if we have to hook a pump to it. So I'm hoping that there will be enough vacuum in here to pull a small amount of fuel out and recirculate that fuel. I'll do some tests to see if that's actually happening or not. But if I don't get any circulation out of this tube because of from the vacuum inside pulling on the other fitting, then I will have to put a pump on this, and I'm hoping not to. So there you have it. That's the bubbler before installation. That's the manifold that's been painted now. Everything's sealed. You can see where I filled all of the small cracks and openings very well with primer first and then paint to make sure that I don't have any vacuum leaks there. The most important tube is this tube. This tube has a lot of fittings. I made sure and thread taped them and also painted and made sure I got the paint up inside the threads to kind of help seal that up as much as possible, because any vacuum leak in this tube will cause problems. So on this end I went ahead and sprayed a little bit of paint on the mating surface for the coupling. That will easily come off of there. I'm rubbing it off with my finger right now, and the paint's already dry. So I'll clean that up before I put it together, and I will probably put a little bit of 5200 on this. On one side of it I'll put Vaseline so it so it uses the Vaseline as a mold release, and I'll still be able to take these apart. So I am going to make a 5200 rubber gasket for that when I put it together. So there's our engine, our resonator, or manifold, whatever you want to call it, and our bubbler. And along with the bubbler, there's going to be a hydrogen cell placed on. Basically, this is the hydrogen system here. This is the hydrogen system on my display panel that I take to trade shows, but it's the whole system basically in a nutshell. We have a bubbler here, an amp gauge with power on, a battery, and a cell. This is what I call a silver bullet. It's a multi-tube design. It doesn't heat up. Well, it'll get up to 100, maybe 110 at the most, but these will put out about a liter a minute at 15 amps on 12 volts. And then this is a simple bubbler, which when I turn the cell on, if I have it plugged in, which I don't, but when I turn the cell on, the water and oxygen and hydrogen is pumped up into here, drops down through a tube in the bottom, bubbles up, is captured at the top, and then runs to our secondary bubbler or backflash arrestor. And then this has water in it, just about a quarter of the way full, maybe not even that. And as the hydrogen's pushed through here, it bubbles up through here, and you can light it right here, which is what I do all the time. So that way you can test your hydrogen. If you buy a silver bullet cell, of course, you'll get one of these with it. Anyway, that's the system, the basic system that will be installed on the generator. I haven't figured out exactly where I want to mount this. This is the actual cell that's going to be on it, and I haven't figured out exactly where I'll mount that yet. But I'll have to have a small gas container on here, and the bubbler for this, and a water reservoir. So we'll see where everything's going to end up. Hopefully we can start off with fuel vapor and work our way up to water and hydrogen. I'm looking forward to this. So here we are. One last look, and more to follow. Alrighty, welcome back. It's the next day. The resonator is dry. I can touch it now. I still need to drill a hole in this and put a fitting for the exhaust gases to be mixed. So I'll turn the video on as soon as I get that done. Alright, we're back. Starting to do the assembly. This time I've decided to wait on putting my exhaust port fitting on until after I have it fully assembled. So, time to take our resonator and attach it to the exhaust and the bubbler. The bubbler is completed. It's been put together and sealed up tight, so there's not going to be any leaks there. We'll have to get everything lined up first, get our bolts in, and then tighten the exhaust up first after the carburetor has been put on and lined up. So, get our exhaust put on, and then we'll get our carburetor put on.